Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Wanjala John, a senior trainer with Africa 118 in collaboration with Google Digital Skills for Africa. I'm being joined in with my moderator, who will be Evans Rabare. So I want just to take these few moments to welcome you guys all, and feel free to tell us where you are joining us from. I know in Nairobi we have the curfew time now. It is now 8. I believe all of you are at home and ready for this particular webinar. And just feel free to tell us where you're joining us from, and we will be glad to know who is in the room, and just familiarize yourself with the chat box down there, and we will be glad to interact with you. So just kindly for the next 2 minutes, I want us to try then to like the video and then comment. There's a chat box down there on the YouTube section at the bottom part. Just try type in anything, type in your name, tell us your name and where you are joining us from, and maybe how your day has been, so that I can know who is joining us. Nice. I see Sarah Monye. Sarah from Nairobi. Thank you, Sarah, for joining. And I see she's the first person to know how to just hit us up, where you're joining us from, and maybe how your day is. How was your day? Just tell us, and then we'll be glad to proceed. And then also for this particular session, I want all of you to just feel free, ask questions, ask some of the concerns that you want to know about online productivity. And then towards the end, we will be okay to see how many of you have gained out of this particular webinar. So just to put everything in place, I can see Cyprian Wonders joining in from Nairobi. Also Betsy Natasha. Thank you very much. I see Alice, Shalini Rungu. Thank you very much, guys. Also, just hit up to your friends. Let them know that we are live and we are starting our session now. And we will be glad to have everybody on board. So, as I said earlier, we are going to discuss more. I want this to be kind of a discussion. And when I talk about a discussion saying staying productive online, I don't want it to be one way. And that is why we are being joined in with my able moderator, Evans Rabare. He will just be answering some of the questions and trying also to guide you through. So things to note as we start this particular webinar: we shall be issuing out certificates to you for at least sparing some time to just join in and listen to us. So guys, feel free to fill in the certificate form. That one is just a basic certificate form. My moderator will be sharing towards the end of this particular webinar. So you'll be feeding in your 2 names, and then where did you hear this particular webinar, and then also your phone number, so that we can easily just catch up with you later and share certificate with you. And then also, because we are only having one hour to have this session, so we will be sharing important links where you can easily access Google content, and you'll be certified by Google. So that online link will also be shared with you, and you'll be in a position just to undertake that particular course, and there will be an exam at the end. And the moment you are certified, the good thing is it is Google certified, and it is recognized in every institution. I know Google being a brand, we have a lot that it has in store, as you are going to see. So guys, thank you very much. I think without further ado, we can start our session now. Just familiarize yourself. If you have any challenges, feel free, feel at home, at least share some emojis where we can see that you guys are enjoying the session, and just tell us how the day has been, and also some of the expectations that you're looking up to. So as you can see on your screen, I want us to talk about how to stay productive online. And at this particular moment, I know the whole nation, more so in Brazil, they are being faced with a lot of COVID-19 related deaths. And during this particular time, you find there are containment measures. Either you are working from home, or maybe there are lockdowns the way we have them in Nairobi here, and you are not able to fully get the best the way we used to in our normal interaction levels. So at this particular juncture, I want all of you to just have some time and understand that our discussion today is going to be how best can we be productive when we work outside our comfort zone of either the office or maybe outside there interacting with people. So our three main agendas for the day are one, how to set up your remote office. And we will see what is a remote office. What do we mean when we talk about a remote office? Is it a home? Is it a coffee shop? Is it somewhere outside the traditional office that we know? And then after that, we are supposed also to understand how can you build a productive work environment. Just working from home or working outside the traditional office, how now do you make sure that you are productive as an individual, you are productive as an industry? So, and then the last thing, the way so many people say your health is your wealth. You also, as you do all this, we will look lastly on how to manage and maintain your well-being. So guys, those will be our key main discussion points for the day. And just as I look at the chat to see who is joining us, feel free to share this link with some of your colleagues who are supposed to join us, and we will be just saying hi to them. I see Eli Lagat saying my day has been insightful and good vibes. And also Farai Museveni joining in from Zimbabwe. Thank you very much, all the way from Zimbabwe. Here in Kenya, it's kind of hot. Today it's not raining, so you can also, I hope you people, either you're having your cup of coffee, or maybe if it is hot, let us know. I know some parts of the country, maybe it's still evening, and in Kenya, it's now the curfew time for those who are in Nairobi. So guys, familiarize yourself in the chat box. Feel free to engage my moderator. He will be in a position to just share with me your questions, and I'll be glad to proceed. I want to ask this question. I know everywhere you've heard about COVID-19. Let me ask, and I want to see some of your responses. How has COVID-19 impacted your role as an individual? Has COVID-19 affected your normal way of life? Has COVID-19 made you change some of the lifestyle that you used to have? Nowadays, for me, I might say I was not used to having masks on every time. You could see like you can just walk around breathing and just interacting with people, greeting them or maybe hugging them. But right now, I think the new norm has been either I talk to you or via a virtual media, or maybe if I'm to greet you, I just give you my fist, where we say unagota. So those are some of the things that have been happening in our places. So I just want to see maybe your reaction for those who are joining us from Tanzania, from Zimbabwe. How has COVID-19 impacted your role? How has it changed the way you used to live before? Has it affected your lifestyle? Let us know on the chat, and I'll just be looking at some of the comments that are coming in. And as you do that, guys, let us now go to our first key agenda, and that is now how to set up your remote office. So the same way you just hear an office, what comes to your mind is workplace. So when we're talking about setting up your remote office, everybody, in the old days when I used to be young, I would see myself, I look at a movie and I'm like, wow, this house is so big. You say, I think after leaving my room, I go to my office, which is just in the house. I attend to some issues of the office related. From there, I move to an indoor room where you want to play some indoor games. And then maybe later in the evening, you take your bicycle and maybe ride so that you can have some exercise, physical exercise. So right now, most people are having problems either by setting up their remote office, either in their homes or either in the coffee places or wherever you want to have your office being located. So guys, I just want to ask, who has ever set a remote office? If you've ever done that, what are some of the key things that you've been considering? The moment you just hear a remote office, what comes to your mind? And towards the end of this particular discussion, I would expect all of you to have understood when you are saying you are working remotely, what does it mean? Does it mean working at home? Does it mean working at a place outside work? Or does it even just mean working outside the office building where you are used to? So I know remote working is that kind of working style where you find professional work outside an office environment. And when you are talking an office environment, this is the normal traditional office where we are used to. You walk into a room, you find either the customer care person is seated at this particular entry level, the manager is on the other side, the employees are on the other side. That is the traditional office we are looking at. So when we are talking about setting up a remote office, here is where you find you are at the comfort of your place. So it is based on the concept that you do not need to have the traditional kind of setup, but you can just an office desk and maybe a seat that you can set up. And let us just look at some of the places where people can work remotely. Number one, you find the first place, the moment somebody tells you I'm working remotely, the first thing that comes to your mind is their home. And when you're talking about your home, if you're an employee, the first thing you'll ask yourself, what do I have at home to make me work effectively, to make me deliver the work that I'm expected? So when you're talking about working at home, what are some of the things? Do you have a chair that you can sit on, or you are going to sit on your couch? We shall look at that. Do you have a table where you can place your machine if you need a machine? Or do you have a space where you can easily do your work that you are used to doing? The second place that also you can work is a coffee shop. I know this has been the norm to some people. The moment somebody tells you, I'm not in a position to come to your office, you usually say, can we meet at a coffee shop? Either Java or maybe some of the joints around the regions where you are in. You'll find that you will be in a position just to meet up with them with your laptop or maybe with your phone nowadays, and be able to just show the client or maybe show somebody, this is what I was talking about, and when we do this or engage in this particular way, we will be in a position to achieve this. And then the third thing that also you can consider is a co-working space. When we are talking about co-working space, there are some rental places where people who are freelancers mainly usually come with their gadgets, they book that space, they do their thing for that particular day. Some book them for a week, some book them for a couple of weeks, and then after they're done, next week if you come, you'll never find them there. So that is a co-working space. So somebody just have a space where he rents it out to people who come and do their thing. And then the traditional library that I know most of you are aware, so many people go to the library to do their things, because library has got that kind of discipline where the moment you are walking into the library, I have to put my phone on silent mode. I need to do this and that. I do not need to pick a call in the library. I do not, all those. So having that ample environment where you can study. So guys, I just want to see on the chat how many of you have ever created a remote office, and what are some of the challenges that you've been having, so that those kind of responses I'll be seeing, I hope will be answered towards the end of this particular discussion. And to ask the second question as I wait for your responses, what do you need to work remotely? When I'm talking about staying productive online and we are working remotely, what do you need as a person? Let me know. Do you need electricity? Do you need internet? Are those things essential for you to deliver whatever you are looking for? So guys, feel free, hit us up on the chat as I just look at the responses coming in, and we will be glad to see some of the places that you can be in a position to work perfectly. I see Naomi following, and if you're having any challenges, feel free to just hit us up on the chat, and we will be glad to respond to them. I'm just looking at a question for those people who have either tried working at home. What are some of the challenges? And I'll be glad to respond to them. I see Abera from Ethiopia. Thank you, Abera, for joining us, and feel free to engage in our conversation on the chat. I have created a remote office, but the challenge has been keeping distractions from children away from my workspace. Wow, that's a major challenge. Most so when we are talking about having children around your area. When we're talking about working from home, I know this is a major challenge. Like myself, I usually have a dog at my neighborhood. So every time you are in meetings, you either hear a dog barks very loud, only the time that you are at that particular meeting. But when you are done with the meeting, the dog stops barking. Those are some of the challenges that we usually experience. And then maybe children, the moment you're at home and you're not working in the office, children know my mom or my relative or my uncle is around, and you are the only playmate they have. They will not even go play with their nannies or do other things. So those are some of the challenges. And I hope towards the end, Alice, we shall just have answered your question when you're talking about children. So when we're talking about home office, what are you supposed to consider, and what are some of the things that you need to look at when you are looking at that? And I don't know, I just remember this when I saw this. Most time when you're having this kind of working remotely, most people go and just decide they either do not even shower, they just join meetings when they're in their bed, they're just dressed up the way they want. And so many people, when they're working from home, they'll find that they'll not even put their videos on. So towards the end of this particular webinar, I'll be looking at some of the things that you are supposed to do so that you be productive. You do not just lay back, because I know in the traditional ways that we used to go to the office, you'll find that you'll wake up either by 5 in the morning, go shower, dress well, and be on the road by as early as 6:30, looking at the traffic. So also we shall just look at some of the things that you need to put in place so that you get the best out of it. Now let us look, what do you need to work remotely? Number one, you need a dedicated workspace. And when we say a dedicated workspace, this one is a separate work from home, a space that is very separate. And when we are talking about this, kindly, I discourage people who work in their beds, because I know your bed is very comfortable, having the kind of mattresses that you have, the pillows that you have, maybe the cuddle pillows, and you find that you are just very comfortable, and you're like, okay, fine, I think I can have my cup of coffee at my desk and maybe just sit on my bed and do my thing. So I discourage having that. And also, if you have a couch in your house, avoid having televisions on, and then maybe you are working from the living room. Have a designated place. If you have a bigger bedroom, I'll advise you have a table and a chair away from your bed, and just make your bed normally the way you do it in the morning, and now have that kind of space that is dedicated. Anytime you go to that seat, your mind is set that I'm going there to work and nothing else. And then I know also most people who have got pets, either the dogs or maybe the cats, some of them like coming and then you just cuddle them or just hold them, play with their fur. It's very interesting at times, because some people say it reduces stress. But if you are trying to work from that comfort, the dog or maybe the cat might disrupt you from delivering your success. And then another thing, after having a dedicated workspace, we shall look at how best should it be. And then the second thing that you are also to consider is devices. Which device do you need? Do you need your phone? Do you need your laptop? Do you need a camera? Do you need a pen and a paper? Those are some of the things. Which device do you need so that you can work or collaborate perfectly? And then lastly, do you need internet connection? If internet is there, do you have access to a very good ISP? Who is your internet service provider? Is that particular time that you are dedicating to work, the internet available? Do you have a backup system in case the lights go out and Wi-Fi disappears? Do you have a backup using your phone internet? Those are some of the things that you need just to think about. And then I know, depending on your profession or whatever you are dealing with, feel free to just let us know what you need to put in place for you to be effective at home. And then how do you create a workspace? So look at this. We are looking at how best can you now have a good workspace at your home or at your designated workspace. Now we are not looking at it as your home. The moment you talk about home, you're like, I can sit, just do whatever I do, and provided I do the work. But now we are now changing from home to workspace. So find a space inside your home where you'll be more productive, where you feel more productive. If you feel being in your bedroom locked with the key will be more productive, do that. Avoid a bed or a couch. I've talked about that. Couches are very comfortable. And I know the first time I was getting my couch, I was like trying to ask the fundi, telling them how best can I have a couch that when I'm off work, I can just come, sit and relax and maybe have some cold water or maybe some something warm if it is cold. So avoid a bed or a couch. Set up a table and a chair. This is a very perfect setup. And I think nowadays just having a table and a chair is a basic necessity, looking at the restrictions that we are having in all of our countries. And then make sure the space is comfortable. Consider your posture. There are some plastic chairs which are good, but there are some plastic chairs which are also bad. Your posture matters when you are working. And that's why the moment you go to the traditional office and you find somebody seated in a very reluctant manner, you'll just say, are you at home or are you at work? So avoid that posture that makes you feel you are not going to be productive. So make sure the place is comfortable. If you need some fresh air, if it is next to the window, open the windows. Let some fresh air come in. If you need a flower to be in that particular room, put a vessel of flower. Have your pen, your notebook around that particular table, and you'll find that you'll be in a position to get the best out of it. Having said that, what are some of the physical equipment that you might need? I've talked about this workspace. Now I want to consider the physical equipment. When you're talking about physical equipment, guys, we are looking at, do you need your phone? Do you need to check on something on your phone and then take notes or maybe take a picture? Is it something that you're collaborating with your colleagues? And later on, we are going to see what are some of the ways that you can keep in touch with some of the colleagues that you are not able to meet them physically. Do you need your computer? Do you need a notebook and a pen? And more so in this digital era, I know most of the youths usually say, I don't think I need a pen and a paper. And kindly, guys, having a pen and a paper is very effective. I myself am a victim to this, and most of the time you find that you are just doing something on your laptop, and there are a lot. Either there's a WhatsApp web there's a Twitter, there's LinkedIn messages coming in, there's an email that has just popped on your screen, and you need to know, okay, fine, I need to reply to this. And that if you don't have a pen and a paper, have your to-do list. Write them on the piece of paper or on the notebook and be looking at them, say, by this time I need to complete this, so that at the end of the day you'll say whatever I'd planned to do for this particular day has been achieved or it has not been achieved. Okay, guys, and then those are some of the physical things. And also, if you need something that, depending on the profession that you are in, just try and consider. And then looking at the time now in Nairobi, it's roughly 8:25 in East Africa. For those people who are in South Africa, the time there is it's not yet evening. So you look at stable power. If there is a blackout, what will happen? So do you have a backup system? Nowadays we have rechargeable torches. So if you have a rechargeable torch, you can easily use that. If you have a solar system that has been installed in a building that you are in, you can also say that is a backup. And also, do you have a power bank in case power goes out? So have stable power source. I know power is very key, and anytime you are going to work at a given place, you'll find that people will ask you, what do you need for me to have this done? They'll just tell you, do you have power? If you don't have power, I don't think this place is good for me. And then when you are talking about internet service providers, I know of late, and those who are in Kenya, the Safaricom have been saying they have internet issues, but at least they are very reliable. The moment they have a downtime in their network, they do compensate you with 1 GB, so that they know that is a backup, because maybe you had already paid the monthly subscription and you are relying on that particular internet. So if you fail to get that, you'll find that you can be in a position to get the best. And then consider an alternative. And that's why I was talking about having an alternative as the mobile internet network. And then find the right router. Always plug into Wi-Fi, test it, and try also the computer internet speed. So every time before you go try yourself, you can just say test speed. So you can easily check the speed of the internet. So when you check, when you just type the speed of the internet, you can run a speed test, and you will know, is this internet speed reliable for me to do that? And if you don't know how to do that, just go on your browser, run a speed test on the network that you are in, and by doing that, you'll find it will show you the speed of your internet. And if the speed is low and you find it is not going to be sustainable, you will be in a position to rectify that. So guys, feel free to tell us on the chat. And I'm just looking at the chat and I like the comments that I'm seeing. I see guys saying avoid the kitchen. Yeah, kitchen is very bad. And I know, sorry to mention this, there are those people who don't work without snacks. They love a lot of snacks. So guys, when we are talking about snacks, kindly minimize the snacks. You can be having a lot of snacks when you're working and there'll be a distraction. That is why at work, at the normal work that we usually do, we usually have breaks that you can now go for tea break, or if it is very cold, you can just have your cup of coffee by your side and be sipping it at a regular level. But having a lot of snacks, try and avoid that. And when you are in the kitchen, kindly, please, I know those people who have fridges, just lock your fridge and throw the key underneath the seat, so that you know it will be a hassle for me to go and get that key, so that you do not be tempted to go open your fridge and get something to take when you're at work. But if you find you need it, just have a regular break and see, what can I do? Looking at that, now here comes the most interesting thing, and here's where Alice was talking about having children were making noise, or maybe I was sharing about having a dog bark, or maybe having some of the funny noises that come when you open the window. So some of the challenges, I'll want to see some of the responses here as I'll be sharing. I know this one will not be exhausted, but feel free to just share some on the chat and I'll be looking at them. Just to look at that, loneliness and lack of social interaction. This is a key factor. So many people who work outside office usually lack a lot of social interaction. You find they're not used to having people around them. They do not know how to interact with people socially. So there is a lot of loneliness. You know, when I'm at work, I might just look at somebody, even without saying a word. I just smile back to them and they'll be like, okay, fine, I think you're good. And that becomes a motivation. Somebody can walk up to your desk and ask you, how's your night? How are you doing? All the best at your work. Just having that kind of interaction. Those are some of the challenges that we do have when we are talking about working remotely. Number two, self-discipline. Here is where we talk about the snacks that I was talking about, the sleeping on the couch, the going here, playing around with your pet when you have them in the house. Most of the dogs, I know you know the dogs I'm talking about, guys. So most people usually hold their dogs on their arms, and the other hand is on the laptop, and you find yourself, even the dog is trying to type something on the laptop. So you just find that things are not working the way you thought they should work. And then also we have no employee benefits. You know, when you are employed and you are used to going to the office, either there's the transport allowance, there are those allowances that you are being given because of going to the office. But right now, somebody is joining us all the way from South Africa, and I'm here in Kenya. So you find that we do not have that benefit. If we were to convene this meeting and have it in Nairobi, where we are, you'll find that the person who is in Zimbabwe, all those people outside Kenya, they will say, can we have an allowance of just traveling all the way? Should we have a place where we when we jet in, how are we going to spend the night so that we can be ready for this particular session? But the internet is here. And then when you are at home, there are very many people who find it hard to switch off. Once they start working, they say, I have to finish this. So you can easily not know because you are not having the hassle of moving from one place to another. So somebody can start working as early as 5 a.m. and maybe it is 8 in the evening, and they do not even go out to see the sun. They do not even open the windows. They've locked their bedroom for the whole day. And those are some of the things that you need to take note. So kindly always make sure those are some of the challenges that are there. But how would you now be productive once you look at those kind of challenges? You are aware of them, they exist. How do you now work out around those problems and have the best out of it? So what are the benefits of working remotely? So working remotely comes also with some benefit. Number one, there's a lot of flexibility. Sometimes the things that you just need to be at home for, having just the presence, okay, the African nature. Let me use the African nature. When the dad walks into the home, you'll find so many people start either changing the channels they are watching or maybe switching off from one thing to another because they feel. So if you are working from home, you'll find somebody will just know you are in existence, and they will know there'll be some order in the house. There are some people, the moment you leave the house, either your kids will be like, okay, fine, dad is gone, mom is gone, my uncle is gone, now I can do what they've been warning me not to do. So there's that flexibility of now, maybe if somebody needed to drop something to your house, you can easily just look at your time and say, okay, drop it at my place, and then I will pick it up myself and maybe sign the document that I need to sign and continue back with my work, as opposed to you making calls trying to coordinate that person to meet up with another person so that your goods are delivered. Number two thing, which is the most advantageous thing, is no commuting. The hassle, more so in the urban areas where we have traffic, there's no commuting. When you find right now so many people in Nairobi or maybe in Machakos or maybe in some parts of Nakuru, the moment it hits 7, everybody's on the run. Right now, the street of Nairobi would be still flooded with so many people. But right now, either they're just the policemen or maybe the watchmen just guarding the stalls. So you find so many people have rushed home, and looking at that hustle also, the traffic is too much here and there. So if you're working from home, you'll have that benefit where there's no hassle of you going with taking too much time on the traffic. And then also we have time with family. I know when you miss your son or if you hear your son crying, you'll just maybe stop whatever you are doing, go check out on your son or your daughter, and just make sure that everything is in order, and then come back to work. If maybe they just need a hug, you just open your room, go hug them, give them a kiss on their forehead, and just let them feel the love, and then you go back to work. There are some people, they're usually disturbed every time when we have breaks on our traditional office. They would call back home and know, how is my son doing? How is this proceeding? You see, so working from home gives you that time with family, and also there's less distraction, and also it gives you high morale because you are like, I'm making this happen. Look at us now, guys. We are having this particular session. You are joining us from wherever you are. Some people even do not know what you're watching. Some people are just seeing either you are glued on your gadget or your device that you are accessing this particular webinar, and they're like, okay, fine, and we are making this happen, and at the end of it, you'll also be happy that we've attained this or we've done this and it's a success. So those are some of the benefits of working remotely. Feel free to share some, and I will be glad just to make sure that at the end of this particular discussion, all of us have understood what it means working remotely. And it's just not a matter of you being comfort, having snacks, playing with your pets, sleeping on the couch, going to the kitchen, opening your fridge here and there. It will not be all that. So some of the benefits of remote working for businesses itself, we are looking at that at an individual level. But for businesses, there's some overhead costs that you can be reducing. There's a great productivity because I know right now if I'm to clock in or maybe start working at 8, I can easily wake up at my bed, refresh, do my normal exercise in the morning, and I know in the next 10 minutes, if I want to be at my desk, I'll be at my desk. I do not have anything stopping me from being at my desk in the next 10 minutes after doing my workout and taking a shower. And then also you have access to wider pool of talent. For example, right now, if I need an architect, I'm an online marketer. If I need an architect, I can go online and just get an architect and ask them, how can we have this done? And we can collaborate. And we are going to look at some of the tools that you can use and see how best we can do that. And then also it improves employee retention. There's some people who fear toxic environment. Going to the office, they just look at that and ask themselves, why am I doing this? Either the moment you walk in, you're like, this guy is not looking at me well. What is the problem? What is not working? So feel free, guys. Tell us on the chat some of the advantages and some of the disadvantages that you've ever experienced when you're talking about working from home and remote working. I want to pause for questions. That has been our discussion on working remotely. I just want to see some of the comments. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll be glad to respond to them. Let me just look at it, and just some comments. I see Daniel Odhiambo saying, generally working from home presents a lot of distractions. Kitchen, couch, bed, fridge, it requires discipline. Yeah, it really requires discipline. And that's why we are looking at a workplace where you are designated having a seat. And when you are talking about these investments, kind of having a seat and a table, a designated work area, you will avoid those kind of distractions. But there are others. I see some people saying watching YouTube and videos. Those are some of the distractions that also come in place. And then I see Sarah saying, I'm enjoying working from home. The flexibility is good. I had to invest in a proper workstation and stable internet. Perfect. The moment you have everything invested, I know you will be like, okay, fine. When I reach the house, I'll be able to complete whatever I did not complete at work. And you'll be okay if you have everything set up. And then I see no commuting really saves time and reduces tiredness. I agree with you, Doug Costa. So reduces that stress and tiredness, because just coming there are people who even sleep in matatus. For those who drive, I know you cannot afford to sleep, but you are tired driving all the way, staying in traffic way late. Those are some of the things that you reduce when you do not commute. And then I see Mercy saying, I'm getting used to working from home slowly and slowly. Thank you, guys. Keep your comments coming in. I like the comments, and post your questions to my moderator, Evans, and he'll be able to interact with you guys. Now, we've looked at how to set up a remote office. I want now to build a productive work environment. What do we mean when we talk about productivity? Right now in Kenya, let me say for the 5 counties, that is Nairobi, Kiambu, Machakos, Nakuru, and Kajiado, we are in kind of a lockdown where we are not free to do anything that we used to do in the old days. So when you're talking about this, you find that you need to find how best can I build a productive work environment. And here is where we are talking about you making sure that you can do what you used to do perfectly at the comfort of your home. So number one, for you to have a quality work environment, you need to have a designated work area. As you can see the gentleman on the screen, you can see he's smartly dressed, and it's at home, it's not workplace. He's smartly dressed, he has a flower, he has his by the window, he has his phone that he needs to make calls if you need your phone, and then also find the right chair for you. Let it not be so low, let it not be so high, and let it also not be a couch. I know so many people have couches in their bedrooms, and you say, I think I can use that couch. So get a filing system to organize your files so that you know this is the file that I was using last week. And if I need it, it is here. So that you can easily know this is what I need, this is where I placed it, and this is my workstation. The moment you're done, take them back to the drawer and know that tomorrow, before you start working, you put them up there so that you can track them. And then let me talk about some statistics here. I know when you're talking about numbers, you now become very, very sensitive. We find that according to research it states that a poor work, because of the work distractions, it reduces productivity by 40%, which means if you are supposed to get 100% and you have a poor working area, you'll be increasing your you'll be reducing your productivity by 40. But if you have a good work area, you'll be also increasing your productivity. So guys, if you have a good working area, it will increase the productivity by 27%. The way Sarah has just said, having a stable and good internet, and also everything working effectively, you'll find yourself that once you lock yourself, you are settled, you are not disturbed with the noises around, with a chair or maybe with something. You are good to work and you will be able to increase your productivity. Now to the big question that I know is in your heads right now. How do you minimize these distractions? How do you minimize? I had earlier say that children are making noise. It can be challenging to avoid some distractions, and I agree. At times, you need to just stop what you're doing, open your room, go where the mess is, and just try tell them, guys, I'm here. I'm in a meeting. Kindly don't make a lot of noise. I've seen people do that. I've also seen people who walk out and just try find, they mute themselves and they walk around, they saying, are you able to hear me here? Are you able to hear me? So those are a lot of distractions and you're trying to avoid them. And then sometimes let others know your work hours. There are some people, the moment they do not see you out of your home, they know you are around, they will come and distract you. So let them know, yes, I'm not going to work, but I'm working from 8 to 5, but I'm working from my house, so I'll not be able to attend to you. If it is 8 to 5, I think I can have a call with you at 1, or during your lunch breaks, or during your tea breaks, or during your regular breaks. And then the second thing, do one thing at a time. I know this is a very difficult thing. You find either you are doing this and something else pops up. Something else pops up. And that's why I said it's very important for you to have a pen and a notebook so that you can be noting down what do you need to do. And then avoid TVs, Netflix here, music there, and household distractions. If you need, there are those kind of cool music where they can promote some kind of good thoughts in you. So try avoid the distractions. If it's TV, I know there can be an advert. I know there's a day I was watching my telly the other day and I saw this advert of fruit juice, somebody taking a bite and then starting to dance, and he's a huge guy and it was an interview. So looking at that, you find that also you'll be distracted. What happens at the end? Did the interview end? At the end, you only find that they were advertising the fruit juice kind of chewing gum. And then put away all the pets. I know this is difficult, more so for the ladies in the room. Putting away your pet is very difficult. Guys, I know you love your pets, and the way pets look at you once you tell them out of your room, they look at you, they give you those eyes, and you're like, guys, I cannot get this. So feel free to just be disciplined and put them away. And then something that is also very important, it's very important for you to have regular breaks. And regular breaks, don't carry your phone. Leave your phone at your work desk. Just go out, look at the sun, stretch a little bit so that you can easily refresh and re-energize yourself before you come back to your designated work area and work. So having regular breaks is very essential for that. And now, when we are talking about productivity, this is very important now. This is the point where anyone who was joining us, you need to just take notes. And when you are talking about working from home, I know most of you work independently and we are talking about loneliness. Now you need to improve productivity within teams. For example, if I need to do something, I need to talk with my colleague. I need to catch up with Evans. I need to catch up with Sarah. I need to catch up with the with a professional somewhere. I need to catch up with Lagat. What do I need to do? I need also to find ways that I can easily communicate with them. And here is now when we are talking about a project. Any project that you're working, establish the vision and some of the deliverables. What am I supposed to do on my end, and what do I expect you to do by the end of this particular time? The second thing, establish the logistics around the team. What do you need so that we can settle them fast? The next thing, promote visibility and transparency of your work. Whatever they are doing, it's like a railway line. If you're building a railway line, somebody has started from the other end and you're starting from this other end. And then all of you come without communicating. You find by the time that the rail is supposed to meet up, you'll find somebody has missed the other rail with some inches or some meters. And you're like, guys, I told you, let us measure this correctly. That's why you find if you fail to be open or transparent with your colleagues, towards the end, you want to combine the project and you find it's all messy. And one person mess produces bad result for the entire project. So always understand that transparency is very key and having the quality of what you need to do. So looking at that, it's very important that you need to understand 70% of the workplace mistakes are due to poor communication. And this is why I usually say, it's better I talk to you, repeat what I said, and ask you, what else do you want us to share? So that communicate, communicate, communicate. We usually say over communication is the best way to solve a problem. Understand the problem, understand what result needs to be found. So the moment you understand the problem, you'll understand what task you need to do. So towards the end, you'll be in a position to see, this is what I need to do, and this is what I'm expected to meet. So over communicate. So 70% of the mistakes that usually come in place are because of communication. And that's why now I come to a place where, how do we communicate? Strong communication is integral in any business success. If you need to be successful in any business you do, communicate. Right now, I know people are not moving, are not moving from one place to another, meeting and having discussions. How do you communicate? Do you use Slack? Do you use Gmail? Do you use HubSpot? Those are some of the mediums. How do you communicate? Let us know in the chat, guys. And always try and understand your communication. Right now, you need to communicate clearly. Is somebody able to hear you? Don't just assume the moment your network is stable, the other person is there. If something is not clear, let them know it's not clear on my side. Kindly repeat yourself. Kindly do this. Kindly, if you want to mind, share whatever you just said on email so that I can have a reference. So think about the type of message and the context. Respond to them promptly. Maybe without that particular response, somebody can easily say maybe it's not delivered. So if somebody texts you, respond to them. Let them know this is what you're doing. And then set up a role model for the guidelines. When you're talking about teamwork here, here's where now I ask everyone, which particular meeting works for you? Some people love Zoom. Some people love Google Meet. Some people love Microsoft Teams. There's WhatsApp, there's Skype. There are so many mediums. Be very clear. If you are talking about WhatsApp, I know having a WhatsApp is very effective because it's very fast. But ideally, having work done on WhatsApp is very distracting. It's better I usually tell someone, can we just have a Google Meet call or a Zoom call and finalize on what we need to do? Because if I go on WhatsApp, everybody who is having my number can easily text me and I'll be tempted to respond to them. There are so many groups there. There's a discussion going on a group. So you'll find either you'll be looking at that particular message and it distracts you from the main agenda that you had to just communicate. So connect and understand. And how do you do this, guys? We have Google Meet, we have Zoom, we have Microsoft Teams, and also just try and understand, how do you set up this? I want you to hit me up on the chat and tell me which particular media you would want us to just experiment. Is it a Google Meet? Is it Zoom? Is it a Skype call? Is it Skype meeting that you need to set up? And I know for now, because most of you are accessing a lot of online content using Android products or maybe Google related products, you find that you can be in a position to use the Google Meet. And when you're talking about Google Meet, just go to your calendar and you can easily, the good thing to do is you can easily do something very simple. You can come to, allow me just show you this. When you look at your screen, I want just to demonstrate something here. This is your normal email. So when this is your email, let me just come to my normal Gmail account, and you need to set a Google Meet. The good thing, Google incorporated all this. Just confirm that you are in a position to see my screen. So if you look at this is my normal Gmail account. So if this is the Gmail I'm having, what you need to do, if you check the left hand side, you'll find there's the inbox, there's the start, there's the snooze, there's the important, and you'll find down here there's Google Meet. So if you want to join a new meeting, you can automatically click on new, and it brings you to a new meeting, and it will generate a link to you. So it's a fast way. You can copy this code, go share it with the person that you want, and you can easily start the meeting immediately. And the moment you do that, you'll find people will now be in a position to get to join this particular meeting, and you can invite them. This is a very good and effective way that Google tried to incorporate you to have this particular medium that you can chat. So it's a fast way that you can do this. You can also just come back here if somebody is requesting for information, copy the information here and share it out with them, either on WhatsApp or maybe on email that they are using, and you can be in a position to carry out your particular session that you are having. Or also, if you have attachment that you need, you can also attach something on that particular call that you are using. That is how you just set up a very fast Google Meet, and you'll be in a position to enter that. That's step number one. If you need also another thing to do with Google Meet, you can come to your 9 dots up there, locate your calendar. You can see where the calendar is. Locate it there. Be in a position now to open your calendar. It will show you the meetings that you have. Go to that particular date. So for example, I want a meeting for tomorrow. That will be on Thursday 8th. So I can come on Thursday, click on it here, and then it will prompt me to enter these details. So once I say this is a meeting that I want, and I can easily say, let me just say, I'll name the meeting, and then add video conferencing. It will generate a link for me, and then I can easily add time. So it will bring up time. I can say I want it to be from 9 p.m. Maybe to 10. And also, if you want it to be less for minutes, you can easily just adjust and say I want it to be 9:30. Then you can also add guests here. You can easily input somebody's email there so that they can get a calendar invite. You can easily input somebody's email. And then after doing that, always understand what the main meeting is all about. So it is very okay to add a description. So on the description, you can easily tell them what is the meeting about, and you can be in a position now to set the meeting. Once you do that and save it, they will now go to their emails, and you'll find on your calendar every time you'll be checking it, you can just have that particular meeting and join it. And that person will be in a position to join in the meeting. That is just a brief way that you can use on Google Meet, and you will be able to just have everything set up, and you'll be good to go. So guys, I hope I've assisted some of you on how to navigate through that, and feel free when we're talking about that, and you'll be glad just to check it out on how things are being done. So if there is any question, feel free, guys, and I'll be glad just to respond to you. Any question? Let me just check if there is any question. And also, if it is not working, feel free. At times I usually see people joining Google Meet and maybe they say my mic is not working. Try to always allow, once you install anything on your phone, allow the gadget to access your audio and also your recording factors so that you'll be in a position to get the best out of it. So when you are talking about that, guys, try, and if your mic is not working, try leave the call and join in. And the good thing that Google just invented is also you can raise a hand on Google Meet. And this is similar to Zoom. So Zoom has got the same aspects, and you can also connect Zoom to your calendar. So try Zoom and also see. More so, the banking industry, they do not love Google Meet because it gets access to the information. So if somebody tells you, so try at least to know 2 or 3 more of communication platforms that you can use so that you can be flexible. You can easily say, I'm going to use Zoom, I'm going to use Google Meet, or am I going to use Microsoft Teams? So I know these are some of the online platforms that we can be using, and you'll be in a position even to get the best out of it. And then once you do this, you'll find you can easily keep in touch with some of your team members and have a project being done and delivered. For you to run effective meetings, note the 4 things down for you to have effective meeting on these platforms. I know once some people are excited, they set the background, they do all this. Always remember to set an agenda. Ensure everyone is on the same page on what you're going to discuss. Number 2, consider the tone of your voice. How do you talk to them? Is it that you're shouting to them? Is it that you're talking politely? Is it that you're giving orders? Or is it that you're making them know that we are going to discuss this cumulatively together? And then encourage using cameras. This idea of people joining meetings and they're on mute, it's not a sure way that you will be in a position to know that this person is either listening or they're being distracted. So always understand that when you are doing this, always understand that you need to show your camera. Most so, just tell people we'll be having your cameras on during the meeting so that people, you know, people are following you. Right now, I'm talking to you guys via this media, and if I turn the camera off, I know most people will be like, what is happening at the back end? That is why you can imagine if people are coming on our tellies and they are going to share the news to us, and we are not seeing their face, we are just seeing we are just hearing the voice behind the screens. You know, you'll be like, was this recorded? Is it live? That is why we usually have videos on. And then be timely. If we say the meeting is at 8, let it be 8. If somebody is going to be late, let them communicate in advance. If you're going to go past time, let also communicate to the audience in good time. So those are some of the things that you need to take note, and always understand the video conferencing etiquette. Prepare yourself so that you do not appear less prepared. So prepare yourself. Know, what am I going to showcase? Dress appropriately. If you need to know that I'm at home and it is very, very hot, I do not need to put on a tie so that when I'm in a meeting, I'm all sweaty. Consider your lighting. Is the lighting okay on your end? And then consider your background. Let us not have a background that is distracting those people who are looking at you. The background needs to be okay. And then your audio also have to check. Is everybody able to hear me? Are you able to see me clearly? So that before you start, people will know that you are doing what is expected. So when you're talking about collaborating effectively, kindly ensure you equip yourself with the right tools. Are you going to use the Google Meet? Are you going to use the Zoom? Are you going to use the Skype? Are you going to use the WhatsApp? So be very specific. Are you going to use YouTube? So make project management easier. How do you make it easier? Set the agenda, be timely, have cameras on, make the document easy and accessible. Are you going to use the Google Docs? Are you going to use the spreadsheets? Those are some of the documents that you can use when you are online, and then encourage collaborative within departments. If you are in this department, do you need the other department? We are just saying how best you can have the rail meet up. So have this in place, and then prioritize the company culture. Kindly understand what is your culture. Is it winning together? What is the culture? It's the same way. Nowadays we have Zuri coming up, which is a Safaricom tool, and you find that people can easily chat with Zuri, and having people to just understand how things are working and how things should be done. Instead of you calling the customer care, telling them this is what I need to do, I kindly understand how everything is being done. So it will give you prompts, and you'll execute that without having to waste a lot of time. So final top tips for productivity. Here you can take notes. Always remember to over communicate. You remember, as I said, 70% of the errors usually come because people don't communicate. If you fail to communicate, you are lost. It's like you're walking into a new city, you don't know where you are going, and you are just walking without telling anyone. You'll be lost, guys. And then be disciplined. When you are working remotely, be disciplined. Don't walk around with your pet. Don't hold your pet when you are not supposed to. And then have your tools ready for work. Always understand, what do I need to put in place? And then lastly, find your booster and use it. So the moment you have all four things in place, you'll be in a position to have it right. Any question, guys, as we now see or finalize on how to manage our well-being? I know I've shared a lot about this, and let me just look at question coming in. Any question? I see Daniel asking, when setting up a meeting using the calendar and you add another, does the person receive an email telling them they've been added to a meeting, or does one have to check the calendar to know? Yes, the moment you send, if you invite them via email, they'll receive an email. They'll get an inbox on their email that you've invited them. And the moment they accept, the person who created the meeting will get a notification telling them that you've been added to this meeting and this is what it is all about. So they'll get a notification, and you'll be just notified that this person has added me, and you'll be able to join the meeting. And our last discussion for tonight will be how to manage our well-being. As I said, your health is your wealth. Right now, because of COVID-19, I know every time you're walking past somebody and you see somebody cough, either doing, in the old days, we used not to cough in our elbows, but right now you can even see kids going and coughing. They do not just cough into their hands, but they cough on their elbows. So you'll be like, okay, fine, how should I manage my well-being? It is very, very important at this particular time to manage your well-being. And if you are not physically or mentally okay, you'll not be productive. Having even all the designated workplace, having all the collaborative tools you need to have to manage your well-being. And some of the tools that you need to use, it is very important because it impacts the overall health. And this is where every time you work, you'll have to start telling somebody, I do not feel okay. The first thing your boss or anybody who is concerned about your work will tell you, have you sought treatment? Kindly leave work, go sought treatment. Because the moment your health is okay, it leads to greater productivity. And then also it increases your resilience. If something is disturbing you and you are at your perfect energy levels, you'll say, okay, fine, I think I can manage this. I should try it again. And then it boosts also your morale. So those are some of the important things that you need to take note when you are talking about managing your well-being. What can you do to manage your well-being? We have seen how to work from home, how to do all this, but what do you do? Avoid overworking and take regular breaks. I'll repeat this. Avoid overworking. It is very effective, and that's why our sessions are restricted for 1 hour. And the moment we have this, we break. Just now do your thing, play with your pet, go watch something on the Netflix, watch something on the telly after this session, and you'll find you'll be relaxed, so that you can avoid overworking and taking regular breaks. Set reminders to take breaks. You can say, I'm set to take a break within the next 1 hour, 2 hours. Be clear with your team. that you are leaving at that particular time, so that they do not call you and say, I need you to be here. So in case they are planning anything, they will be there. Turn off notifications when you're at break, and then schedule your meetings. Be ready for the culture shift. When you're talking about this, the overall performance, you can see that person does not have a chair, but the way he's seated on that seat and the way he's looking at his machine, you'll find he does not have a lot of distractions. So understand your commitments, be patient, rethink the concept of work, and have everything work for you. And to just manage this well-being kindly, when you are working from home, understand and let this be a routine. Exercise regularly. I said my normal schedule: when I wake up in the morning after doing my prayer, the first thing I do is to do my regular exercise. Either I do my push-ups, I do my sit-ups, I try just work out, and then go shower, come relax, and then after doing that, you'll now be good for you to start working from home. And then view mental health as the seriously as physical health. When you hurt your toe, you'll be like, I need to cover this wound. So your mental health, you cannot see your mind, but your mind has a lot already. So do not overstrain your mind. Your mind is like your physical health. So always view your mental health as your physical health. If you find you have strained enough, have a break and just have it rest. Have enough sleep. Check in with them, with your line of manager and also team regularly, so that you can easily tell them, I think I've had enough today, but tomorrow I'll try and prioritize and finish this. Separate your professional life and also personal life, so that you can have a break. Let it not be so official. Every time it's just professional. Everybody who calls you, they say, this guy, if you call him, is just busy at work. They are just doing this. So guys, feel free to take regular breaks, understand what you are dealing with, separate your professional life, and organize in-person social meetups. It is very important at least to have a social meetup. If you have the lonely kind of setup, you will not be in a position to get it right. So those are some of the things that you need to put in place, and you'll be glad just to get it place. Let me pause for questions now, guys, and just see if there are questions coming in. Don't forget that this is just a session that we are having for 1 hour, and we'll be having regular sessions on Tuesdays at the same time from 8 to 9. So guys, feel free to ask questions and also raise concerns that you'll be having. But I hope I've shared something, I've added something to your notebooks, and you'll be able to effectively work from home and increase your productivity level even during this pandemic time. And remember just to keep safe, sanitize, and also maintain social distance during this particular time. And we will together win as a team. And for the next steps, as I shared earlier, remember we have our online kind of digital garage, where you can just log in as an individual, have some time to understand more on what I was talking about, read, and you'll be certified. So you can read the course that is in this particular link at learndigital.withgoogle.com/digital skills courses all that. And my moderator Evans will be just posting that link for you, and you'll be able to get the best. So today, just try log in, look at the courses, have yourself a break, and you'll be able to be certified. And don't forget also to follow us on our social media handles. That is on Facebook. We are at Facebook at Digital Skills for Africa. So kindly follow us on Digital Skills for Africa, and also Digital Skills App on Twitter. And then also on Instagram, follow us at Digital Skills App. So you'll be in a position just to follow us wherever you are, and we'll be posting some of the insights, some of the key takeaways that I've been sharing on this particular course, and you'll be getting the best out of it. And also don't forget to like this particular video and subscribe to our YouTube channel down there at Africa 118, where we will be having regular meetings coming up and having such kind of online webinars where we educate each other on some certain aspects online, and you'll be getting the best out of it. Thank you very much, guys, for joining in, and it was a great pleasure having all of you. And don't forget kindly to fill in the certificate form. So follow us on our digital social media accounts, and follow us also on our Africa 118 YouTube channel, and you'll be able to get the best out of it. I've been your trainer, Wanjala John, and thank you very much for joining us. And don't forget to sign up for the certificate. We'll be issuing your certificates in a week's time, and also this recording will be live on YouTube. You can share it with your friends and others so that they can get the best out of it. Thank you very much, and have yourself a blessed night. And it was a great pleasure having all of you here. Thank you for the engaging chats that I've seen. I've seen a lot of comments coming in. You've kept my moderator on toes, and he was very happy just to interact with you. I hope also you've liked him, and also he has been sharing a lot of content with you so that you can get the best out of this. It is a great pleasure having you. Keep safe, guys, and have yourself a blessed night. Thank you.